Stay put, you little monsters. Welcome to Whistling Wind Ranch. I'm Greg. Today's job is to continue going on our log fence and our treating it with the burn deal here. After the last, I did a short and I got the actual name of what this is called, and I went and I searched that, and what I did is I found another name for it. It's actually a Japanese style of doing siding and treating your siding and stuff, so we're kind of adapting it to a log fence here. I found some artisans I was watching, and I found a way to sort of refine this procedure here, and instead of doing half the log and then treating what's going in the ground, I'm doing the whole log now, because what it does is it helps to fire resist the log. So just with the deals with all the forest fires and the droughts we're constantly freaking in around here, I just decided fireproofing. I'm sold on that idea. So we're gonna go ahead and start burning this. I've cleared up some memory on my freight train. Do not knock that thing over. Hi, bud. Hi, Hank. Hi, Hobbs. Hey, Manny. Well, so yeah, I found a way to go over this, do it a little bit differently. Instead of leaving the char on it, we actually scrubbed the char off with water. I mentioned in one of the previous ones how there's cracks that form. That charred slurry actually washes into those cracks and helps treat that. And yeah, we'll give it a shot this time and see how she does. I got one over behind me over there that's almost finished. But let's go ahead and start getting this going, because I want to get these logs done today. And then trucked over, because I've got the skid steer sitting just over here. I need to do an oil change on that and pressure wash the backhoe to get it ready to start putting these posts in the ground. So that's kind of two things going on today. I was just going to mention something else, but my brain just blanked out. Oh, because we're going to be burning this all the way up, in order to make this look uniform, I'm going to have to burn the rails across too. But again, fireproofing and treating the rails is that's all right in my books. Guys, get out of the shop. Get out of the shop. Good boy. Okay, tell your little buddy over there to come out too. You are a good boy. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. Take it. Yes, you're a good boy. Don't put it in my shirt. Good boy. Okay, well, we got help, so we'll see how this goes. Well, I'm waiting on these guys to walk away. Let's just take a look at the one I did sort of yesterday. So you can see the scrub brush, everything. I burn it all the way up, and you take a scrub to it, really coarse, long bristle brush, and you rub the char all off of it, and you get like barely any on you here. You can see the line. This has linseed on it. This side doesn't. I've got to apply it a little bit different, so I've got some brushes from the dollar store for another project. You can see, like, that's what it does to your finger without treating it with the oil, and then that's clean. So it'll be way nicer to handle and have animals rubbing on when we get it done. But that's absolutely gorgeous. I just love the way it looks. The burning also smooths out the roughness from the debarking tool. And when you sort of cut through the different layers, it really throws a really cool design in it. So pretty much sold on this. You can see now the sun's coming out. So if I could have something that was a little bit lighter coat, it might be a little bit nicer than the linseed, but the linseed's cheap enough that I'm just going to use what I got, because I really like this lighter color on it, but we're not getting that. For the cost, we're not trying to go super expensive. So you guys away yet? Almost. Okay. There you go, Manny. That's a good boy. The apple core of the day goes to the old man. Ow! Well, torch, and then a hose. You can obviously see it's working. I got this end from BC Wildfire Service. It works pretty slick. I got to replace the insert on the end because it's dried out and leaking a bit, but running water to do all this and fire. That's about it. Oh, and then the other tools I've picked up is scrub brush. I got this from Princess Auto. You can see they're very coarse, very long. Didn't have a handle, so I bought a handle. I haven't figured out which one of these I'm going to use yet. These I got from the dollar store for painting an engine way back. They were in a bunch of them, so I got a ton of paintbrushes because might as well have them. And then this is what I got for doing the treatment. So that's basically everything you need. There ain't a lot to this project. So, and then a backhoe to dig it into the hole, but you can do that different. Hey boys, okay, let's get to work. Hey yo! So that took about 15 minutes or so. I think the deeper you get this char, the more resistant it's going to be to burning. Because if you watch, when you burn this, you'll see some of these edges start to go white, and then they sort of stay white, and then they're way harder to reburn. That's when I find when I do one side and then roll it, it's a lot harder to burn what we've already burned. So there is some merit to this being fire resistant, but I'm trying to get it deeper. So they say when they burn these, the artisan guy I watched in from Japan, he says to go about 3 mils of depth for your ideal treatment of them. If you know, the bigger the log, the harder it is to get it to burn. So we're lucky how deep we can go, just based on the fact that a bigger piece of wood is going to take longer to burn than a thinner piece of wood. I mean, that's just a given. This stuff out here, I could touch this with a torch and these piles would just ignite instantly. Whereas this, you could hold the torch on it, like you said, for 15 minutes and this thing is still basically a log. So next is scrub-a-doo to start this. So that's the next process of this. This is messy, hence coveralls. I mean, not the best coveralls, but they're coveralls. That's my one given, and then lots and lots of water. That's it. Now we let it dry and we'll brush on our linseed. So now I've got one full one to go and 3 half ones. That's it, baby. Like it, easy peasy. And not a lot on there compared to the way it was. Because if we do this, look at that difference. So she's gonna be a good one. This one's a lot smoother with less of this than this one. So I think that one's more fire resistant than this one, but I like that color better. But a little bit less heat into that would have got rid of this. But that's nice and deep, so we're not going to worry about it being imperfect, because imperfection is perfect. I'm going to go ahead and get this done. Lunch is done. I'm still working on burning those logs up. The weather's looking a little bit, I left the bike way over in the hayfield because I had to drive all over Hell's Half Acre trying to find the horses. Found them, left the bike, walked back with Larry and other 2 utes in tow. The ladies have returned from their foraging adventure. Don't mind that. Levin has his mom now, so he was over here on his own. And he was just up here screaming away. I tried to catch him and take him over to the girls when they were over in the hayfield. Couldn't do it, so I just left him here. He had the big dogs. He was cool, man. But they're here now, so he's super happy. Sometimes the lambs, they like to sleep in because they have it so easy up here. Levin likes to crash hard. And everybody off on him, and he was left here on his own. He doesn't like to be caught because we're always catching him to check over his sort of like his soreness from being stuck in the feeder. And he really doesn't like to be caught, so he'll run all over. So the best thing to do is if you can catch him quickly, you can do it. But if you don't catch him, just walk away. Otherwise, you'll stress the little dudes out. Nice thing is with the clouds rolling in and the shade, that the little dudes are, they can go and graze whenever they want. So it's not like when it gets super hot, they just want to shut down for the midday. But yeah, so that's good. This Friday, I gotta go get hay. So we're kind of out of hay, not out of hay, but we don't have enough hay to put nighttime hay in for the main flock. But the lambs are getting full, all they can eat. We got lots of grass down here. This is all sub-irrigated. I've got a well up here. I've got a well over here. And we've got a dugout through here. But this all stays sub-irrigated. So it's mint as get up. But we're going to be crossing up over that way onto the plateau area to get the bike. This weekend. Well, here it is. Now I get to ride this all the way back. Well, the horses were just crashed up in these trees right here. So, you little So the reason why those things need to be killed is 1, 2, 3, and 4 holes. That'll take a lamb and swallow a little. Like if we have a little lamb, they could get stuck in there and, you know, you'll never find them because you can't see them easy. Or a horse will step in that. I think this is the worst one for horses. Like this is a horse's leg breaker, this thing right here. Look at the size of that. This one's coming on pretty big too. This one here, yeah, they're starting to excavate the shit out of this. Like they're just fucking destructive is what they are. So they're starting to move into that burn pile, that wood pile right there. That wood pile's only been there for a week and they're already starting to make a nest in that. Problem is we don't have a lot of predators for them around here. So these holes here, there's about 12 in here. That rock pile over there, there's about 8 in there. That wood pile, and then this sort of rock face here, there's about 10 in there. There's about 15 in the barn. They're out of control. So we're gonna come and population control them. So, and then these holes, once you get them deleted, these holes fill in really fast. Little pieces of shit. You can see the trails that they do. So they wear the grass down really bad too. Like, look at that. And they eat all the seeds from the grass, and they slow your fields down from germinating, because they're coming out here and eating all the seeds. So your grass doesn't. So you start getting too many of them, they start destroying your fields. They'll slow the grass growth, because they're little bastards that need a 22 shell in the brain. Yeah. This here, I'm dry scrubbing this with my brush. I'm not using any water on it. I tested it on these ones over here, and I'm actually getting a lot more material up and off of them. And not so much this one, but this one you can kind of see the line. This one was wet scrubbed and this one was dry scrubbed. So I'm thinking that I should be able to get away with a dry brushing on this, or a less water maybe. The problem is when you start to add water, you either got to keep adding a lot of water to it to keep it from globbing up, or nothing. You just got to keep the water up. But when you put too much water, you wash it out of these cracks and stuff. But the dry scrubbing it, I'm actually getting the powdered carbon into all the cracks. So I'm kind of thinking, instead of hitting this with water, which would actually save a resource, you're not using water, we are not using power and batteries and generator. So I'm going to go ahead and try and dry scrub this. You've seen me scrub these things, but I'm going to dry scrub this, because we're really getting a lot into these cracks by doing that. So maybe I can hank it up real good. Hey, Hanksaurus, you're such a good boy. Okay. Hi, old boys. Look at this weather. Yeah. He's such a good boy. Beautiful. So that was way faster to get us to this point. This smooth here was actually drier, so it came up easier. If we look in the cracks, that carbon is actually staying in there now and weatherproofing those cracks instead of washing out of them. And it was a lot faster because we don't have to keep taking the water and spraying it down. So that worked out pretty good. So I'm gonna have to redo those two there. You can tell they're way different. That works a lot better. Just my broom needs to be cleaned now. That, I think, works a lot better to do dry brush on there. It's all a learning experience. I haven't seen a lot of people doing different methods of this. I've just seen the guy that's like, this is the way we do it, and da-da-da. Most of them don't take the carbon off, I'd seen, but learn from your mistakes and see what works. Like I just decided to give it a shot and see if we could do it without wetting it, and I like it a lot better. I do like it a lot better. Like that came out really nice. It's still treated. It's still like charred and treated. We will go ahead and I've got to pull those two down and I got to brush those off again. And I got to finish those too, but I'm not sure what's going on with the weather here, so we're going to go ahead and probably slow down on this and finish it off later here. Oh, and then the bug holes. If you got bug holes, that powder, you can just pack it in there and it really helps. So I'm digging it. Once we put the oil on it and seal everything, I think this is the way we're going to do a lot of this. I like it. I like it. So, what do you think? Hank. So cute, bud. Hobbs, Manny freight train. So I brought that second one down, the first one we did, and I've dry brushed it. It came out really good just like that one. So that's gonna work good. We don't have to wash them as we're brushing them off, because you can see this one's not bad, but you can see it's a lot more dark and charred still. And then we brought that one over, the first one we did, and I just dry brushed it all off and cleaned it all up. I put a linseed oil coat on this one. It looks really greasy, and that's because it is. I'm not sure if the brush is the best way to go and apply it. Maybe we'll be able to let it sit and dry. Yesterday when I put a little bit on, it just soaked it in so freaking fast. It was unbelievable, but it's not doing that today, so I don't know what's going on. Like, see, there's nothing greasy, but you can tell, look at that, that's greasy. So I don't know what's going on. Still got a little bit of work to do on figuring this out, but this sure darkens it up though if you take a look at the difference. It's also greasy. So this one here is essentially fully treated, and this could go into the ground once it dries a bit. I mean, it's gonna still dry, I can see right there. Yeah. So we just need to let the log soak that in a bit more. Will it soak it in? Probably, maybe, I don't know, because we've treated it with the flame, so I don't know. So let's just recap. We cut some logs, we cut them to 10. We debarked them, they look like this. Then we torch them, they look like this. We've got to do the whole thing. Then we brush them. Well, let's say that when we get here. Then we brush them and they look like this. Then we linseed oil treat them and they look like this. And then we'll see what happens when they dry. This is essentially treated and ready to go in the ground. It's going to be some very black fence posts, but it's different, it's cool. Easy to see in the snow. Maybe some idiots won't be running into it. It's fairly natural. Maybe we could get our organic certification if we start replacing all our treated posts, chemically treated posts, because this is fairly natural, I guess. I don't know. I don't care about getting organic, but yeah, so this is drying quite a bit. Maybe I'll just take the other brush and I'll sweep it and I'll try and soak it up or spread it out a bit. Get these two are ready for the next step. I should bring that down and finish brushing that out, and then I should bring those two over and get ready to torch them out. All right. Yeah, I'm hoping this will dry before the weather comes, but it could be. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. Once these are in the ground, we've got to get the first one in and solid and fixed and tamped and dirt and packed in the ground to the right height. Then we got to figure out our height for our 4 rails. We're doing a 4-rail fence. Once we get the rails up, we have 2 options. One, we could put the rails up, torch the rails while they're up, and then just treat them all while they're up, or we could do them on the ground and then put them up. So we're kind of stuck on that. Which way to go about that? Either way, I'd have to burn the tenons before they go into the logs. I don't know. We'll figure it out when we get out there. It's all a learning experience, man. Learn from my mistakes, because I've made quite a few on this. The linseed oil, I think, is my latest mistake on this. So I think I applied it the wrong way. I should have used a rag. Oh well, maybe not a brush, maybe a rag. Oh, it is drying. Yeah. Slowly. So everything is burnt now, so we're done with the propane. Well, all 6 that we need for the main post. I should really turn that off so I don't forget. So these are all treated, they're burnt now. These are brushed and ready for linseed. That is soaking up really good. I gotta go turn that off. So now that the wind and the sun are out, the linseed is really starting to soak into this. Yeah, so you can start to see some of it here where there's a few spots. that haven't soaked right in, but the wind and the sun are doing an amazing job right now. I'm not sure how to do this better. I don't really want to use like a little rag, and I'd rather just use a brush and crank it out. If this will, maybe we'll be lucky and this will go faster. I don't know. I might have to change my brush up to one of those sponge brushes. I just don't know what to do here, because I did do a little rag the other day and it soaked in pretty good, so we'll see. That's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. Again, this is the first go of this I've ever done, so we'll see how it works, and then we'll use better logs next time. These were just what we had down in the hayfield that we cut like last week. No, that we trimmed up last week, that we cut a year ago. So the bugs did move in. And if it stops them from moving in anymore and rotting them out, then we'll be lucky. But hey, I don't care. This has essentially only cost me a quarter tank of propane and a bit of linseed oil and a little bit of time. There's not much. Oh, and a bit of water and solar. So if this works out good, it works out good. I don't know. Here's what I'm talking about. We gotta drill these, or we gotta cut these tenons at the length that each one of those posts is in the ground, and we don't know the post distance yet until I get out there and measure them, because I want to do 10 foot to the center of the post. But some posts are going to be bigger, some are going to be thinner, so these rails are going to change length depending on where they go and whatnot, and what two posts they're between. So we can't just go and cut all these to 10 feet and tenon them just yet. But these are going to have to be treated too after we cut these or drill these. So that's going to be a big deal. I might also just throw these up for this year and then come back and burn them late. I really don't know what I'm doing, but you can see none of these are they're straight. So I can put that at the middle and the top like at 10 feet, but the middle of this post is going to be closer to whatever post is opposite it for the rails. So this rail that goes out from here will be longer than this rail that goes here, because of the way the post is doing its funky do. And then this one does it the opposite way. So if these two, like we're facing right like they are right now, where this is curving out and this is curving out, this is a shorter rail, this will be a longer rail. We don't know until we get the holes all set up and these into the ground. So that's what we're working with. Again, imperfect is perfect. This has a ton of knots on it. Looks funky cool. This doesn't have as many knots. This doesn't have as many knots. That doesn't have as many knots. It's all just different. It's wood, man. You're not going to get perfect. I'm going to leave this at this, where we're at here for this video. I don't know how long I'm at. I haven't really gotten a feeling for that just yet. This is the extent of my day. I think I'm just about done. We just got to do horses, or no, we got to let the horses out tonight. Probably got to do waters and just check the sheepies here. We got to do the skid steer, oil change, and I got to pressure wash the backhoe before we go do these into the ground. Where the hell was I? Oh, and I got to finish treating these up tomorrow. I got to finish sweeping these off and then treating these hopefully tomorrow. And then we'll have these all ready to go, and then I've got to probably take the case. I'll take the case of that rail. We're not going to treat that rail yet. And we'll take this case and all those posts over to the other side, maybe tomorrow. I don't know. I think I got to take water over for mom and dad at their little station over there. So we'll have to probably use a case tomorrow, so I might as well get that done. But tomorrow, get these finished and knocked out and treated with linseed, and I got to get that oil change done. There was no way I was getting everything done and then having to spend like 2 hours trying to find horses. So that is actually going really good right now. The sun and the wind are making that linseed really soak into that. Get those into the ground, and then I got to get the big tall posts done too. So we might have to bring those back when we take those over. I might just do those at home here, just because we've got good running water and controlled heat here. So that makes most sense. Do it at home. Okay, but we'll see what happens. I don't know. I'm figuring this out as I go, man.